I'm Vicki Hogarth, and welcome to Southwest Magazine. St. Stephen's University has been an important part of our community for 49 years. With big plans for the future, the university is holding a fundraiser on September 17th at 5 p.m. at Drewhaven. And Andre Agassi is involved. Here to tell us all about it are Judith Moses and Tom Butterfield from the board of SSU. Thank you both for being here today.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you very much for having us.
So before we talk about the university and all the wonderful things you do there, let's talk about the event and obviously how Andre Agassi is involved. Judith, tell us what's going to take place.
Well, we are really looking forward to this, and we're very excited about this event. Steve, as you say, it's been around 49 years, but we are finding that the community knows very little about the university. There are people in St. Stephen who do. St. Andrews has been a little bit more distant. So our main purpose is to introduce the university to the local community. We would like to see people in Charlotte County more involved in the university. So this is the first fundraiser that we've actually had in this area. Drewhaven is a sponsor for us, and we're hoping for a good turnout, and we'd like to make an appeal today for an even greater turnout. Okay. So thank you for having us.
So to help with that appeal, Tom, tell us about what we can expect at this event.
Well, first of all, we're going to expect a full house. Okay, that's first and foremost. And we want to see everybody there. Yeah. Secondly, it's going to be a reception full of enthusiasm about making people aware about what the university has done and how privileged we are to have a university in our community, one that has contributed from the day it got started. And it is an important aspect in any culture to have an institution of this sort. And I'm amazed, quite frankly, as someone who has been photographing the county, how little we know about our environment. And that includes, sadly, the university. When I went out on the Hastings and started selling tickets, they were saying, "What university is this?" So it's important to understand that it's not a what university is, it's what this university can do and how it is actually nurturing our lives in the community.
Mm-hmm. And we used to think of it as Canada's smallest university. That is no longer the case.
We used to say Canada's smallest university with the biggest classroom, because the kids, the undergrads, spent more time living abroad, traveling, less time on campus, and so we attracted a lot of young people from all over the world who want an education like that, who wanted really small personalized classes, who wanted a well-rounded education, not just on academics, but on spiritual and personal development as well. So that was an important part. We are now only a graduate university. Unfortunately, after the pandemic, our undergrad enrollment did not bounce back enough to actually even break even. So we canceled the undergrad program, but we also learned a lot during the pandemic about how to deliver programs online. And we have discovered that there is a phenomenal interest out there in more mature students who want to do a degree or even just pursue courses online with less time on campus. So they are required to spend some time on campus, and we still do have some field visits associated with different programs, but our enrollment no longer qualifies us to be able to say we're the smallest university.
So, and on that note, what is enrollment for this year?
We are, I think about 135 students are expected on campus this fall. And then we have, those are our degree programs, but we also have students who are just doing courses. We have students who will be enrolling in the summer programs next year and the travel study programs. But in fact, when you're delivering a program like this online, your enrollment can be endless. So we have targets, but we welcome anyone who wants to pursue a degree with us. Okay. And so we're only offering master's degrees right now, and of course you can do doctoral studies there as well.
Okay, and when it comes to the fundraising in this event, what are you raising funds for? What are your plans to expand?
Well, our plans are to, number one, expand our programs and our program enrollment. The Reconciliation Studies program is our newest program, and we in Charlotte County have a great appreciation of the Passamaquoddy Nation here, and they are involved in helping to design and deliver the program. So that is something that is very special about the university. There are many programs across the country on reconciliation, but I'm not aware of any that focus on non-Indigenous people, how to be a good partner to walk with Indigenous people in reconciliation. So we have had Indigenous people in the program, but it's designed for others. So that's one area that we are fundraising for. The campus is actually one building plus a couple of other buildings, and we are looking at doing some upgrading, although we meet standards required in the province, but we are looking to do some upgrading there. We've also had professors who have done their jobs for years out of love. They do the job because they love it. They have been underpaid. We have another goal of making sure that we meet the market standard. So that's something else that we're doing. We need to expand, of course, the number of professors that we have, and research. Research is an important dimension of any university, and we want to invest more in research. Hopefully, if we can do all of that, in maybe 3 years' time, we will be financially secure enough that we can then relaunch the undergrad program. We would love to see that building full time with all that enthusiasm that young people bring to the university and to the town of St. Stephen.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of these young people stay afterwards. I've met a number of people who've gone to university.
You're right about that, Vicki, and that is an important part, and it speaks back to Tom's point about the importance of this in Charlotte County. So it's not just people come here, they get educated, and they leave. New Brunswick is a wonderful place to be, and there are a number of students who have made their home here.
You know, there's more reason to stay in New Brunswick than to leave it. You know, that I think is kind of critically the point, is that we don't have to go all over the place when it's right in our own backyard, waiting to take New Brunswickers and from outside to mix and melange in together. When you said earlier about what to expect, I think one of the things that you can expect is, number one, a very warm reception. Number two, a talk from the president of the university about what his experience has been and where his dreams and aspirations are of taking the form. And I'm going to let the cat out of the bag because it's not my cat. But this, to me, was spearheaded by an Andre Agassi, who, it's not for me to speak to, as I say, but he's the guy that really has gotten behind support of the president and the university. And what an injection of enthusiasm it has. And I can't wait for people to actually see what Agassi has got to say about the relevance of the commitment of St. Stephen to the community. It's just a wonderful, wonderful presentation.
And on that note, I know tickets are $95 all going towards the university, but Andre Agassi is matching donations. Can you talk a little bit about that?
He is matching donations. That's exactly right. So if we raise thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, he's going to write the check to raise. Now, keep in mind that, and this I do know before any of the St. Stephen thing, I was well aware of Agassi's commitment to inner city kids and education. And the fact that he's reached out to us here in New Brunswick, I think, is wonderful. He has raised some $60 to $70 million for education. Think about what that does for kids in terms of hope, in terms of having their own dreams and their own aspirations. You know, Agassi didn't come from a wealthy background. He came from working class folk. And he has put his good fortune and his earnings into areas that he thinks is critically important. You know, and I do think that society is only as good as the people who contribute to it. We need to build. And that's how when Judith asked me to get involved, that's why I wanted to get involved. I'm not originally from this part, my mother is, but I just wanted to get involved because of what it actually means quietly. You know, you don't need any baggage when you have an education. It's all locked up in here. Makes you a better world traveler, full stop.
I can't help but wonder how Andre Agassi found out about St. Stephen's University? There are many universities in the world. How did he come across this one?
Well, Brad Jerzak, our president, came, I guess, was put in touch with Andre Agassi and Steffi Graf, his wife, when they were looking for some spiritual guidance. And he spent a weekend with them at their home in Vegas. And they fell in love with each other, which if you met Brad, you would understand that. And so they kept in touch. And then when Brad became the president of the university, he called Andre and said, Andre, I don't know anything about fundraising. Can you give me a short course? So they spent some time talking about it, and Andre got so excited about what we're doing. This is a person who recognizes innovation in education. So he got involved, and he's put money on the table to match, and he just put more money on the table right. a couple of days ago, which puts more pressure on me and Tom to raise more. But it's all good. And I just want to read you something that I think illustrates what a great guy he is. So when Brad talked to him about this event, and he said to Andre, for me, Brad, the friendship comes first, so I don't want this business conversation to compromise our friendship, especially if I'm asking you for money. And Andre replied, Bradley, the whole thing is about friendship, and everything we do is as friends. How we work together to steward our gifts is part of the friendship. And so, I mean, that's just a conversation that I think illustrates how committed these two are. And fundraising is personal. We can attest to that. And so having Andre involved, personally involved, is so important to us. I should mention that Tom's wife, Jill, is also a championship tennis player, and they ran into Andre at Wimbledon this year. And Andre was so surprised to see someone there on the board of St. Stephen's.
I wasted no time introducing myself. Like, you don't know me, but I'm on your board.
That was really funny.
Now, I know he's not going to be at the event, but he is going to be there virtually, I understand. Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, I can't say a lot about it right now, but Vicki, we are happy to have you at the event and to record the proceedings there, and to see what Andre has to say. But he wants to have a personal presence. He's sorry he can't make it, but I think that people will be enthusiastic about what he has to say, and just about how wonderful he is as a human being. This is a really warm, caring person who takes a strong interest in education. So that's going to come across in that interview.
And because ticket sales are so important, and we said they're $95, but really that's like almost giving $200 if Andre Agassi is matching funds.
Well, there's that, plus there will be a tax receipt.
Okay, and where do you go to find tickets if you're watching at home right now online?
The best thing to do is to go onto our website. There's a button there to donate to the Andre Agassi Foundation Fund, and Tom and I will be happy to help people acquire tickets.
If you see me in the street hanging out flyers, which I've been known to do, it has an email address right on it.
Judith Moses at judith.moses@gmail.com.
And I'm Tom Butterfield at tbmworks@icloud.com.
Okay, so many ways to find tickets. Another thing to stress is the venue itself, Drewhaven. I've been at a number of events there. They're always special. But for people who haven't, tell us a little bit about the venue and why you picked it.
Well, Drewhaven, one of the reasons we picked it is that it's a very flexible venue. If the weather's nice, we can be outside. They have a downstairs part, they have an upstairs area, and then depending on how many people we get, we have a choice about which part of the facility that we use. They're donating the facility to us, and we're thrilled about that. And they've given us a number of other discounts as well, and have agreed to be an official sponsor for us. Okay. But it's a beautiful venue, and people who haven't been there must come out and see Drewhaven. It's a jewel here in St. Andrews.
Do you have a goal in mind fundraising-wise, or is it just as much as we can manage?
Well, I think as Tom said, I mean, so far, Andre has said he's willing to do this again next year. Yeah. So
this, in my mind, is an open-ended book at this point. It really is, because I don't think that Andre is expecting a $10 or $20 million fundraiser yet. But it could go that way, who knows? And ideally, we would love to think that we might be able to drive that into reality. However, having said that, it is an initiation for all of us to be able to work together and take a great deal of pride of an institution that's just around the corner. You know, and I've had very good response to my sales pitch. I just need to get some kinetic energy and actually see a sales ticket, you know, move. It has been, honestly, it's been a little on the slow side, but not, as I say, from a reception point of view. But it is also an opportunity just to build up an awareness, because as we said at the outset, many people don't even know that St. Stephen is even here. So it's time for us to move into our 50th year with Andre on our side and make it happen.
And Vicki, I should just mention too that this is only one part of a broader fundraising campaign that we've launched. We are approaching all of our alumni. We have donors from the past. We are approaching foundations and the private sector for funding as well. So this is just the start.
I can't believe it's almost been 50 years. I like to think a lot about how an institution shapes a community, but sometimes that's something that isn't quite in top of mind for people. Talk a little bit about what it means to have a university, particularly in a rural area like ours, that brings young people from not just across Canada, but different parts of the world to our corner of the world.
Well, first of all, you would be surprised at how many parts of the world know St. Stephen, and because we attract students from everywhere. We've had students in Africa who are up in the middle of the night doing their courses. So yes, people are aware of it. For us here in, as Tom said earlier, in Charlotte County, it's important to realize that it takes a number of healthy institutions to create a healthy community. And post-secondary education is critical. And we are blessed to have a post-secondary institution here. One thing I might say is that this board believes we haven't really done enough yet to get out into the community. So we're going to be opening up the campus more. We're going to have lectures there. I've talked to someone in town here who wants to support an annual lecture here in St. Andrews. So there are a lot of things that we can do, and we don't stop, Vicki. We keep looking for improvement, and we intend to be well known in Charlotte County and beyond.
One thing I'd like to stress is that a lot of the people that come to the university from different parts of the world end up staying in not just New Brunswick, but Charlotte County. Jacob Rose was a guest on our show Good Day from the Bay this week. He's from Alberta. He met his wife at St. Stephen's University. So there is that element too where you're growing our community, particularly with younger people. We think of people leaving New Brunswick to work and then coming back later. Are you finding that a lot of your alumni stick around?
Well, of course, we're talking about the undergrad program at this point. We have Alex Henderson on our board, who was also a student there. And there are a number of others who have stayed on the academic side. Lawrence is another example of a professor who went through the university. So I think we know the numbers about how New Brunswick is growing. People have discovered us. And this is all part of New Brunswick being a wonderful place to live. And we see all the development going on here in St. Andrews. We are bringing people into New Brunswick who never really thought of New Brunswick as a destination place to live. So we contribute to that. And the graduates become a part of our community, and they do essential professional jobs in our community.
What are your hopes for 10 years from now? Where do you hope to see the university go?
First of all, I'd like to still be alive. That's one hope. But continued diversity. You know, you asked about what does a university bring, and having gone through university myself, I remember many, many years ago what it does bring is diversity of thought, diversity of backgrounds, and it helps people pay their rents at home because universities rent apartments, or university students rent apartments, and they add to the economy. And then by staying on, they further add to the economy because they have a family, and the list just goes on about what a university actually does. Its ancillary benefits is actually without any possibility of real judgment. You know, it's infinite what it can do.
And in addition to that, I also see us playing a larger role in Canada and globally. For example, our Peace and Justice program, we have people who are actually engaged in bringing disparate views together, bringing a polarized world together. So one of my goals is to see our graduates strategically around the world in these troubled spots, really working hard to bring, as I said, these polarized people together. So we specialize in that kind of dialogue. And if you look on our website, you'll see that some of our graduates are doing amazing work there. We're becoming well known in peace and justice, and we're drawing a lot from the reconciliation studies, Indigenous principles of living. It's all related. So I'd like to see our graduates making big change in the world.
Now, I hope Madam Chairman will not send me on a one-way ticket when I say the following. But in my mind, one of the elephants in the room is that there's this perception by a very small handful of people, but perception has a way of leaking out, misperception, and that is that St. Stephen is a Christian school. Maybe that's the principle upon which it started, but it does so much more than that. It is that and some. And some, and some, and some. It reaches way beyond the idea of where it set out. And that to me is critical, because Judith and I did have that talk when I was first selling some of the things and I was getting a little bit of pushback. I said, but Judith, I joined because I happen to believe, or I could see, that it's more than that. Mm-hmm. So that is one of the words that we also really need to flush out and get out into the community.
One of the big draws, too, of the university is the travel element of what you do. You've even worked that into your reconciliation courses. Can you talk a little bit about that, Judith?
Well, we do have partnerships with post-secondary institutions around the world, and we're not the only ones engaged, for example, in peace and justice. So we have strategic partners around the world and in Canada, and we work with them. That creates a drawing card for our students to travel to different places. The undergrad program, a big part of it was travel. So that is not the same thing with the grad program. Yes, we have worked in components of travel, and we do have a special, Irish travel module that the students spend all their time in another location. But we take them to different places around the world, and it remains a very attractive feature of what we do.
We have about 2 minutes left in this show, so I really want to sell the event to everyone at home. So it's September 17th at 5 p.m. Final
Drewhaven.
Words on why people should come out and why they should support St. Stephen's University.
Come out to have a good time, to meet your neighbors, other people who want to support St. Stephen's University, and learn more about the university so that we have more friends and donors in our area.
Mm. It's a glorious opportunity just to really commune together. We all love to be, socializing, but this has a real purpose. And to me, for $95 and a glass of bubbly, and an address from the president, and an address from Andre Agassi, and you all walk away feeling pretty good about what just is a couple of miles away from here. And that's really part of the event of the evening. It's going to be all over in 2 hours' time. We won't have any stragglers coming in at 8 o'clock. That's not in the cards, because it is a fundraiser. And with fundraisers, you got to be strict on your time limits. Otherwise, you're pouring your profits down the drain, and that's not what we are here to do.
We're also welcoming Chief Akaji to the event.
Okay, wonderful. And Judith, if people want to follow what you do online or even in person, how can they connect with St. Stephen's?
SSU.ca.
Okay, well, I thank you so much for being here today, and I will see you on September 17th.
I think our thanks is to you, and thank you for the interest and helping us flush out what needs to be reached out into the community. Really, this is very rewarding for us, so thank you.
Thank you, Vicki.
Yeah, terrific.
My guests today have been Judith Moses and Tom Butterfield from St. Stephen's University. They are holding a fundraiser event at Drewhaven on September 17th at 5 p.m. I'm Vicki Hogarth. Thank you for watching Southwest Magazine.
Southwest Magazine is a news and public affairs production of CHCO Television.